A new hat.
You should probably pull it down a little further.
Rude.
What is happening, everybody?
What's up? Hello.
Hello. What's up, everybody? Happy Father's Day. Happy Dad's Day.
Happy Father's Day to all of you fine fatherly figures out there.
Well, that's been pretty good alliteration there.
Sure.
What is up, everybody? I hope that for those of you that have dads around, you've given them a call, sent them a gift, done something. I gotta call my dad.
I was gonna say, did you call yours?
No, I'm gonna call him in a little bit. Okay. All right, Sassy.
Did you call Tom? Good old Tom?
I haven't called Tom yet. Tom
Silverberg.
Tom Silverberg. No, I haven't called him yet. I will call him in a little bit. But hey, everybody! Happy Sunday. Happy Father's Day.
Happy day after my birthday.
That's not
it's still a thing.
It's still it wasn't a thing to begin with in order for it to still be a thing. So yeah.
See how she forgets it's over. It's over. The love is over.
There is no day after your birthday. Well, that's not true. Day after your birthday consists of eating cake in the bedroom, right?
Yes.
Or in the bathroom, apparently. That's where I found the remnants of her cake eating, you guys. She didn't cover her tracks.
I had a piece of cake this morning.
She didn't cover her tracks. I brought up her coffee, and she was disappointed because I didn't come with cake. And so then she had to come downstairs and get her own cake, which she then took back upstairs.
Correct.
So that is, I guess you were
cake
right.
with coffee the day after.
That's the day after birthday.
When you have a friend that is an amazing chef and pastry chef that makes you this special cake every year, one must enjoy the cake. It's kind of an insult to not eat it.
Whatever you have to say to yourself to sleep at night.
Yeah, Derek's like, that cake will be everywhere. Derek, we still have some cake left. You want to stop by? Get some? Yeah.
Derek's excited because last year
he got the leftovers.
He got the final piece of the cake, and it was pretty amazing. And I think it might have had something to do with I kept telling him how amazing it was. Because see, here's the thing: I'm not a cake person. I don't think cake's that exciting. I'm not really into it. I like pie. I like cheesecake, but I don't like cake. And last year was the first year of this particular cake that was invented for your birthday because you like blueberries and lemon. And so when at her birthday we did karaoke and we were giving out the cake, and I was like, I'm fine. And I passed on the cake, you guys. Listen, I love me some ice cream. I love sweets. But if it's not something I'm really into, it's like, why bother? So I passed on it. And then the next morning, I think you had it sitting out, and I just took a fork and I took like one bite, and I was like, what?
Nobody, pretty ridiculous.
Nobody told me that this cake tasted like this, okay?
It is lemon and blueberry layered cake with mascarpone and lemon custard in it. And yeah, like fresh sliced lemons and fresh blueberries in it. It's fantastic.
So good. It's like delicious.
It's like sweet and tart.
Well, and it also is very, not to use the word that you hate, very moist and dense, but in a good way.
Yeah, it's really good.
You know how like when you have like cake, a lot of times I don't know, it just seems like it's a vehicle for a bunch of sugary frosting, and it's just not really that great. But it's very delicious.
Yep. Barbara, I hope you don't lose power. I guess there's a lot of storms going on, so.
Indeed.
It actually is a very delicious cake. Anyway, so my friend our friend Hadassah makes this cake for me for my birthday. Now it's a thing. She made it last year, and now it's become one of her signature dishes when she does catering jobs because it was so well received and so good. She actually created it last year, and then everybody loved it so much. Now it's a thing. Yeah. So I told her she needs to name it like the Victorian lemon cake, because
she's like she's trying to like get her to name it after her. We'll see.
Why not?
It's a bit presumptuous of you. I'm just saying.
David in South Beach.
Hey, what's happening?
Haven't seen you in a bit.
What's happening? Oh, speaking of people who watch us, we have a new follower, watcher. She's been going through her videos. She's been commenting, I swear, on every single one.
She must have been. She must be watching us on a loop, and she's so cute because she makes a little comment after everyone.
Yeah, her name is Glenda. She's in Australia. I call her Glenda from Down Under.
We have a friend, Glenda, not to be confused with our friend Glenda that used to live in Las Vegas that now lives in Utah. But yes, this is Glenda in Australia.
Yeah. Which we have a couple people who watch us quite a bit down there. Linda's another one. We like Linda. She comments every once in a while. And of course they're like on pretty much the opposite time. I don't even know what time it is there. It's like the middle of the night right now.
I have no idea. Yeah.
I don't know. But Glenda's really cute. And what I love about Glenda is that she's not even a seller. She buys stuff. She collects. I think she said she collects like antique brooches, but she's not a seller at all. So it's not like she's watching us because she's getting ready to sell. She apparently is just entertaining.
Just finds us entertaining. But that was cute.
So I wanted to say
hi, Glenda.
Hi, Glenda. Thanks for watching, and thanks for leaving awesome, super, super nice comments on all of our stuff. We really appreciate it. We like you. Anyway,
how's the skin after the mask? It still feels good. Yes, last night it was funny. I don't have any makeup on. I just have eye makeup on. So Katie, last night we still had like this red ring. It was like that, you know, when people do really bad makeup and they have like a line of bad makeup with the wrong color. That was what it looked like, but like pink. It was like pink skin and then like your neck. We both had that going on. But yeah, it was pretty funny.
Yeah. Kelly says that she's watching us on the TV. I want to say, speaking of Allison, who just popped in Big Drew Thrift, I think Allison might win the prize for showing us. She sent me a picture, and she was apparently had our video playing on the fridge. So that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, somebody's refrigerator.
I don't know, Allison. I don't know if that was your refrigerator. I can't remember if it was your friend's fridge. It was like one of those smart fridges, and apparently you can stream YouTube videos on it. So it was pretty funny because we were.
That's probably the strangest place anybody's ever watched us is on the front of the refrigerator.
I think that's pretty awesome. Anyway, so
Cheryl's going on a little road trip. It sounds like a busy road trip. She should be packing. Yes, you should be packing. Pack as soon as we're done.
Well, she's traveling to go help her daughter. It's her daughter, right? And then the grandkids. So she's helping her daughter travel with the two little ones to go visit grandpa, who is not doing well right now. And so I think that's really awesome, though, Cheryl, that you're going to help, because it is definitely, I've never had to travel with small children, but I've seen other people making an attempt at it, and I cannot imagine what it would be like.
So
and
difficult.
I'm sure it's going to be a huge, huge help to have you there with her to help out.
Lorna was so nice when she was traveling here last week or a couple weeks ago. She ran into this, single mom. I don't know if she was single mom, but she was traveling alone with two very small children, one of them an infant, and she was completely overwhelmed trying to wrestle all the bags and the children and the stroller and all that kind of stuff onto and off of the plane, and people were being so rude to her, and Lorna got mad because she was really mad at this guy who was being really rude and obnoxious about it. So she went over to help her, and so she will help walk her to baggage and helped her get her stuff situated. So that was really sweet of her. So
yeah, very sweet. Yes, any more late nighters? Well, so for your birthday yesterday, we went. It was a pretty full day. We cleaned the house. We had donuts.
Donuts and cake. There goes my diet this weekend. Back on tomorrow, I promise.
We went to the local casino here. It's right down the street. A friend of ours is staying there, and so we went and hung out at the pool for a few hours yesterday, which was really nice. Speaking of kids, lots of really, really cute little kids playing in the pool.
They were.
And then after that, we went out for sushi, and the plan.
Oh, look, Glenda's watching. Glenda from Australia.
Oh, hey, there she is. Hi, Glenda. And so the plan was that we were going to go out for an 80s dance party, because at the Brooklyn Bowl, or if you guys have been to Open before, that's where in the past anyway they've had their big party, their big last night party.
Yeah,
and
the big closing party.
Anyway, so we were going to go to a dance party there, 80s dance party, and let's just say there was lots of yawning happening
between the sun and the pool and the food and the cake. We looked at each other about 10 o'clock last night. Katie and I and our friend Hadassah, and we had another couple that was out with us, and we kind of went, yeah, it's not gonna happen. So that's it. We're officially old. So we came home and pretty much went to bed.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a great birthday. I had a good time.
Ridiculous.
I had fun with my friends. My favorite gift, I have to say, is I did, obviously Katie got me some great gifts, but my favorite gift was my friends Wendy and Keith made a donation in my name to the camp that I work, that I volunteer with in the summer, called Camp Suit. And I thought that was pretty awesome. And they, it was actually the camp director just sent me a text just as we were going live and said, hey, I just got a donation last night in your name for your birthday from your friends Wendy and Keith. I wanted you to know.
Yeah.
So it was really sweet.
That's awesome. Cheryl says that our skins are glowing. Well, I mean, it probably helps that we were out in the sun a lot yesterday. Let's see. Big Thrift just is just at $1.99 for the milk money that she owes me. I was supposed to give you a glass of milk because you're old, and apparently that's what old people do.
She asked if I was hungover this morning. She said,
"Well, no, we were talking about you being old and that your legs were weak because of
that too.
Yes,
so I need
milk
Oh,
money.
I need some. Oh, so I don't have osteoporosis. I got it. Well, she sent me a message this morning and said, "You're up awfully early. Are you hungover?" I was like, "I don't even drink. I'm such a weenie."
You had like one drink at the pool.
I had one drink at the pool. This berry mojito, which it was fantastic. But yeah,
it was pretty tasty. Okay, so and I wanted to say real quick, Susan Sanders said that she ran into Afro Vintage Berry at a garage sale yesterday.
Nice.
So I'm hoping both of you guys found some good stuff there.
Adam says calcium for my bones, apparently.
And Adam's excited about eBay Open coming up. It's coming soon.
It's coming soon.
T-Money is in the house, Barbara.
We have camp in 3 weeks, and then shortly after that is
eBay Open.
eBay Open, yeah. So yeah, in 3 weeks, you're going to go without us for about 2 weeks. There aren't going to be any shows for almost 2 weeks.
Yeah, sorry. Maybe T-Money will take over and she'll put some stuff up on her channel. Anyway, all right, so let's get into the show here. Enough with our antics. We've got our sales highlights for the week. Our sales numbers for the week.
Our dismal sales numbers. Last week was fantastic.
This is what's sad.
This
is what's sad. She says that because her sales numbers were amazing last week. Mine are a little better than last week, and now ours are about the same. And she's talking about how dismal hers are. It makes a lot, jerk. Anyway, so
Allison, I do not need I might need calcium, but I don't need a colonoscopy yet. I've got 6 years to go. It's 50 and over. 50. Yeah.
We have a bidet, so she's good.
I don't think it's the same.
What? I guess it's more like a colon cleanse, huh? Anyway, so we're going to go over our numbers, and then we'll show our sales highlights for the week, and then, of course, do our haul, which for me is a lot of the T-shirts. But you've got some really
shocking with the T-shirts.
Well, it's summertime in Vegas, so that's going to be like a lot of what I find also. So, and then you have some pretty cool hard goods, I think.
I think so, too. I got some good stuff.
Yeah. Teresa says, remember EKG.
That's true. I am selling a lot today, which is weird because I had this whole weekend was just in the toilet. So a lot of people seem to be shopping on Father's Day.
It is especially slow right now for a lot of people. I know there have been a lot of changes being made to the site and stuff. But I will say my numbers on eBay are right at where they were last year at this time. The big difference is Etsy. I didn't have Etsy last year at this time. And so even with my numbers, if I just had eBay, I think I'd be hurting right now. But with Etsy, it's like my last 30 days on Etsy is like $2,000. So it's like, that's $2,000 more than what I did last month. It makes a big difference, even though it's not nearly as much as what I make on eBay. It makes a huge difference as it's kind of like
I am up 57% over last year. So that will go to tell you how bad my sales were last spring when we had all these glitches. I was talking about it then, and I'm still talking about it. Every time my sales are crappy for a couple of days, I start to have palpitations. It's like PTSD reaction from last year.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because we couldn't understand why the sales were so bad last year. I was doing the same thing, selling the same type of stuff. It was just so many glitches on the platform caused a huge drop in sales. And I'm sticking to it. That was the reason.
Closet Manifest. I have my Etsy store has over 1,200 items in it now, and I'm over 2,200 in eBay. So there's still some things in my eBay store that haven't gotten moved over, but yeah, everything that I have is vintage. I put in my Etsy store. All right, so let's go ahead and do the numbers. You want me to do mine first?
Yeah. Heather says it's a great sales increase. Yeah, Heather, I'm up 35% as a whole over last year. I'm up 57% this month compared to last month.
Yeah. And Allison, eBay was down a couple of days ago. Okay, so let's look at my numbers. I've got 29 outgoing orders on eBay, 9 on Etsy for a total of 38 orders. My eBay gross sales, $1,648.28. My Etsy gross sales, down a little bit from last week, $4.49. Sorry, $449.86. So my total gross, I actually was able to get over $2,098.14. My shipping, $229.59. I had a number of international sales. My promotion fees between both platforms, $94.21. eBay final value fees, $179.79. What are you doing over there? You're making lots of noise. And my Etsy fees, $40.49. So my total costs, $562.08. And then my cost of goods, $180 to bring my total net sales after all my costs and costs of goods to $1,356.06. My average sale price, gross average sale price, $55.21. So I am back up over $50, which makes me happy. And then my net average sale price is $35.69. So, okay, it's okay. Definitely would like to bring it back up better, but
my sales and my numbers are almost exactly the same as hers this week. It's so weird how that happens. Our sales
sometimes,
sometimes mirror one another's, but I've had a lot more orders. It's bad. My average sale price is bad. Just not a great week. Anyway, so 51 sales on eBay, 3 on Etsy for a total of 54. 1832 and change on eBay, 216 on Etsy for a total of just over $2,000, $2,048 and change.
Copycat.
Yep. My shipping was $285. Again, shipping is always when I charge for shipping, it's added into that. When usually if I have free shipping on the smaller items, that's added right there as well. So just so you know, that's why my shipping is generally high. Big items. Promoted listing fees, $65. eBay final value fees, $295. Etsy fees, $19 and change. My total costs being $665, just under $665. My cost of goods is fairly low at $153. My total net sales just over $1,200 this week, which is bleh, pretty bleh.
Yeah.
My gross average sale price is $37 and change, which is not great because my net was $22 and change. So I do like to keep my gross average sale price around the $45 to $50 range, so a little low. I did accept a lot of lowball offers on some older stuff to clear out some older stock and just to keep my numbers going in general because it was such a slow week.
Yeah.
I had 2 days or 3 days this week where I sold under $100 total, which is usually I'm 300 and above per day. So it was some real slow days, like one of them being the day that eBay was out.
Adam's Exploits busted out a $5. Is that a super chat or is that like the sticker now? Because now there's like, I think it's called like a super sticker or something. And I'm assuming that's what his little guy's face. It's kind of cute.
Shock. It says wow.
It says what? Really? But no, that's a new thing. They didn't have that before. Anyway, but by the way, Adam has a YouTube channel as well.
I think he's trying to get to 1,000 subs. Did you hit 1,000 yet, Adam?
I think he said something earlier that he needed to get up there. He still needed to get a few more. So definitely go check him out. Support him. We should all be supporting each other within this community. And so
there is enough room for everybody. And if you have time and inclination to watch other people, to learn something from other people, we try to encourage anybody to have a YouTube channel if you want one. We're lucky enough that we have, a few of you guys that actually watch us regularly and give us an outlet for our antics and our loud mouths. And we appreciate it.
Yeah, he needs 120 more. There you go. Teresa just
Teresa
says subscribe.
119, so she subscribed. So
thanks, Teresa.
Yeah, if you can get up to 1,000 subs, 1,000 subs is where it really starts to, you're able to get, put ads into your videos, and it's when you're able to be what's called monetized.
Well, and also you can do more. There's more functionality. There's more things that you can do.
You have to get so many viewing hours and so many subs before you're able to be have all the information. So
yeah, so awesome. Good luck to Adam. All right, guys. So those are our numbers. You ready to share some highlights?
Some highlights of the solds. We're not going to show you the lowlights, but we're showing you the highlights.
You can go look at our stores to see those for yourself. Actually, every single one of my solds for this week that I'm showing are t-shirts, which is good because that's pretty much most of what I'm showing.
Woot, woot.
As woot 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 woot. Anyway, all right, so let me go ahead.
Kara, when using promoted on listings that you charge for shipping, does that get fee tacked onto the shipping too? No, it does not. If you have shipping included, yes, it's a promoted listing on the sale price, the item sale price, but it's not on the sale price plus shipping.
Yeah, I don't know.
I do know. That's why I answered the question.
I don't know. Well, I'm saying I don't know. All right, let me go ahead and share our screen, and we can go ahead and show you some highlights here. All right, what do you got?
Okay, so this was just this is classic Betsy Johnson. This is that whole grunge, that underwear worn as outerwear look from the 90s. You know, women would wear this kind of thing. Courtney Love, exactly. Courtney Love, wear this with a pair of combat boots. This is, you know, anywho. So I paid, I think it was about $10 or $12 for this one, and it sold for, I took an offer for $85.
Very nice. That's it.
That's it.
That was very abrupt.
Sorry. It's vintage 90s Betsy Johnson. Look for those black tags, Betsy Johnson, New York. That's the Betsy you want, not the Betsyville, not the pink Betsy Johnson lettering. Mm-hmm. That sells as well, but this is the nicer Betsy Johnson.
Okay. Very cool. All right. First one for me, like I said, it's going to be all t-shirts. So this one, there's nothing exciting about this, but what I wanted to point out is, so this is a vintage t-shirt. This tag right here is mostly 80s. Occasionally you'll see it like early 90s, but mostly it's an 80s tag. And so this is just kind of highlight that right now, you know, tie-dye is super in, and that it doesn't have to be anything special. Like there's no graphics on this. This is just a cool looking tie-dye shirt. And I actually took an offer for $30, but $30 for a used t-shirt that has like, it's not like a team, it's not like a band, it's just a t-shirt that's got like a cool tie-dye pattern on it, and I sold it for $30. And I only had it listed for maybe a couple of weeks. I really didn't have it for very long, but I just really like the pattern on it, so I went ahead and grabbed it. Next one for you.
Looks like something I would have made at camp with one of my kids.
Yeah.
Because we do tie-dye at camp, because of course it's a camp thing, right? Who doesn't do tie-dye at camp? So this was what I actually just wanted to have a little conversation about. You can see this is before we got the ring light, because look at those shadows. And, you know, as we've said before, my photos are not the best. But anyway, actually, I don't know if I took these photos or if Dana did. But I've had this listed for a little bit. It's one of those that I've had listed. I think I picked this up for around, it was somewhere under $10, and I had this listed for quite a while. It was 6 months old. So the other day I went and ended a bunch of my older listings. I didn't change a thing. I hit sell similar, created new listings because I knew they were 6 months old and they were suppressed because they're old. Ended them, hit sell similar. Within an hour, I got an offer on this for $75, and I took that offer because when it was on sale right before I ended it, it was on sale for $55.
Crazy.
So it was on sale for $55. That person didn't want it. 1 hour later, somebody wanted it for $75. So just one of those things to let you know and to prove to you that when you have older listings, people don't see them. If you have listings that are older than 4 or 5 or 6 months old, you really should be ending them, reworking them, and hit sell similar. Change your title, change your photos, change your pricing, whatever you need to do. In some cases, I don't change anything. I just end the listing and relist it. You know, so there you go.
Yeah, for sure.
I changed not a thing.
There you go. All right, next one for me, guys. Remember I should show this t-shirt last week, this Rocket Man t-shirt. I got 2 of them. It was when we were at Deseret Industries. And so they were like $1.99 each. They're just really cool promo t-shirts for the new Rocket Man movie. And it's like a world tour. It shows like all the dates all over the globe where the movie is coming out. And there are dates on here that still haven't even come up yet. And it's funny because when I went and looked at comps, a lot of them had sold, and all of probably like 15 or 20 of them have sold, and they've all sold for like $20, $25. And so I went ahead. I think you guys were all saying like, no, price it higher. And so, you know, I did that. And so I priced them up. I have 2 of them. And I ended up taking an offer for $45 for one of them, because it was going to the UK. So they paid $45. I didn't have to pay shipping. They paid shipping. I made a few extra bucks on it, and I still have 1 to go. And I was pretty stoked about that. And I thought you guys would be pretty excited to see that.
So I see a question there. Studio 22 Green, do you do wholesale? No, we neither sell nor buy wholesale. Everything we do is one-off.
Yeah.
I did show this in a haul video a couple of weeks ago. It wasn't listed very long, maybe 2 weeks. I picked this up for $4 at Savers, and maybe $5 at Savers, and it sold for the sale price for $90.97. It's just a little blouse. It was somebody who didn't necessarily recognize the tag or the name, and it was something that I knew would sell pretty well. It's Ted Baker. It's a high-end clothing line.
Yeah. And speaking of wholesale, I will say, mainly we thrift. You pretty much, that's all you do is thrift. I do have a couple of people that I buy from regularly, do bulk buys from, but even then it's like 20 pieces here or there, and they're still one-offs. So as far as like doing any kind of bulk, very, very rarely I might do a little bit of retail arbitrage and buy several of one thing, but it's not, I would not say it's any significant portion of what we do. All right, this is just a cool vintage US Marines T-shirt, and the reason I wanted to highlight this, so I did sell it for $48.99. This is an 80s T-shirt. You can see that old velveteen tag, and it's just a cool US Marines T-shirt. But what I love about it is I actually sold this to somebody in Russia, and so they not only paid $48.99, but they also paid for shipping. And I just want to say, Russia's one of those countries that if you try to go print your labels on eBay, it will, like, if you, let's say you try to go do bulk shipping or whatever, it'll kick this one out and it'll say that you can't print the label out on eBay. You have to go into the post office up to the counter and get your label that way. And it's just so weird. I mean, they think of Russia as like a high-risk country. I don't know.
I sell to Russia all the time.
I know.
No issues.
I know, and it's ridiculous because it doesn't really matter because I get all of my first-class international labels on pirate ship anyway, and they have no problem with Russia labels. And so, and I get them
it's only eBay shipping.
And I get them way cheaper there. And so I just want to say I know there are a lot of people who don't, even if they do their own international shipping, will not sell to Russia. And I'm telling you, you're missing out. This is a great sale. I made way more on it than I would have if I would have sold it domestically. And Russia's one of my top countries I sell to. So apparently, probably part of that's because I don't have as much competition because people don't want to sell there.
Mm-hmm.
All right, your turn.
Probably so. So I showed this, I think it was last week. At best, this was 2 weeks ago, but I think it might have been last week. I bought a bunch of Masuka at a garage sale. This sold for the price that you see there, $90.97. I believe it sold within 24 hours of me listing it. It rolled into one of my sales. I try not to have my stuff roll into sales, but sometimes I forget to check that off.
Mm-hmm.
And in this case, it rolled into one of my sales and it sold for what you see there. Yes, GSP does not cover Russia. We don't we don't recommend GSP. We think GSP is not good for anybody. So
yep.
We teach how to ship on your own.
Yeah. So Pat just said that he got a lot of Rock T-shirts for $200. So he had an opportunity to get a lot of really awesome Rock T-shirts. And I think when we talked about it, Pat, I'm pretty sure, like, I think I had said to you that like $300 would be a fair price because we were talking about like what should you offer for these T-shirts. So if you got it for $200, that is awesome because there were some really good ones in there. So I'm pretty stoked to hear that you were able to make that deal happen.
And yes, you can do GSP and ship on your own if you choose to. Again, we don't talk about GSP because neither one of us do it. I've never done it. I know nothing about the program.
Yeah,
but
I don't really see the point.
There's no point in it, honestly. I've been shipping internationally for 15 years, long before GSP existed. Back when I had to handwrite my labels and take them to the post office directly because you couldn't even do it online. So there was no such thing as online shipping.
Yep.
No, never had any issues. I've shipped to almost every country in the world.
All right, Pat says there were 33 of the T-shirts, and I think I had said 400 would be a fair price. So you got them for 200. That's super awesome.
Nice deal.
Okay, so the next one for me is a Super Bowl 21 T-shirt. Now I showed this, I believe I showed this last week because we had gone to that wine walk, and we went into that streetwear shop, and there were just two things I got. I got this and a rodeo jacket.
Yeah.
And so I picked this up. I paid $25 for this T-shirt. And I listed it, and that night, the same night that I listed it, it sold for $70. It immediately sold. So I may have been able to list it for a little bit higher, but I think 70 was a fair price for what this is. But that was a really quick flip. And so
it's because the Giants have not had very many NFC championships. So there's
it's a popular team, and it also is like a really nice. It's like an earlier Super Bowl T-shirt. It's a Screen Stars T-shirt. It has a lot going for it, and it was in fantastic condition.
It was cool.
So it pays to pay up sometimes, guys, if you know what you got and you think you can sell it.
This one is one that kind of surprised me. So maybe a month or two ago, not even 2 months ago, I was showing you guys a bunch of the posters that I'd picked up at a garage sale. These vintage Zeppelin posters. Some of them were the black light velvet posters and things like that. They're not in fantastic condition, as you can see. These are posters that are dusty and cracked and have their edges are worn, and they've got some splits in them, and they've been rolled and all that kind of stuff. But in any case, I actually I sold this for the price that you see there, $90.97. I've sold all but one of these posters so far.
Awesome.
I paid $1 for each.
You're welcome.
Katie found them. Yeah, we were looking at this huge garage sale, and Katie found them. I paid $1 a piece. I think I've sold them for two of them for $90, one for $75, and one for over $100.
That's awesome.
So I only have one left, and they've all sold, all positive feedback, and they're not even in great shape. That one was actually one of the ones that was more difficult to photograph, to be honest.
Well, yeah,
because it's long door length. And it's real hard because it has that glossy finish to photograph it without getting that glare and reflection on it. Yep. So it was one of the harder things to photograph. And HTK Family Flippers here in Vegas.
Hey!
Thank you for the birthday wish.
All right, next one for me. Hey, another t-shirt. Check it out, guys. I showed this last week as well. So here's another t-shirt that I showed last week in last week's haul. This is one that came from my guy on the East Coast. Like I always say, I always talk about like the religious t-shirts, the Christian t-shirts, and how well that they do. And this is a really cool one because it's supposed to look like a Harley t-shirt,
like
a biker t-shirt. Holy Discipline of Christ,
not HarleyDavidson Cycles.
Yeah.
HDC. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, so it's just a really cool t-shirt. So I got it listed, and it sold. It's another one that sold, I believe, the same night. Now in this case it was 60 because I do have my stuff so it rolls right into whatever sale it's in, so I price them accordingly. This one I actually got an offer. It's like I think I woke up the next morning to an offer for $70. Now some people think that's weird or it's scam, some sort of scam when somebody offers gives you an offer for more than what you're asking. Now there's a couple of different things. Okay, for one, it could be somebody who thinks that that's how it works on eBay because it's the whole idea of like the old auction system. But the other one, which is what I think is actually more likely, is people will do that if they want to buy it, but maybe they don't want to pay for it right away. So they could have, immediately paid $69.99 because I have immediate pay required. Or by offering 70, as soon as I accepted that gave them a couple of days to wait to pay because you can't require immediate payment right now on offers. Anyway, they paid the $70. I sold it right away. It's such a cool t-shirt, and I was super excited how fast it sold. All right.
It's kind of a cool shirt.
It's a very cool shirt. Next one for you.
Ta-da! These took a while to sell, I will say. I think they took me a good 4 months to sell. I can't remember. Was this the day that Dorothy went with us?
It might have been.
It might have been. I picked these up at a garage sale for $5. I've had so many offers and so many watchers on these over the past few months that I just knew they were going to sell eventually. But I did have somebody make an offer for $100 that I accepted a few weeks ago, but then they never paid. So unpaid item assistant kicked in and they got relisted. So they sold for what you see there, $147.96, and nice. I paid $5. They've already paid. I'm going to ship those using pirate ship. They're gonna go in a padded mailer, and they're probably going to ship for $8.92 across the country. So yeah, pretty excited.
Yeah, Harley-Davidson stuff is mass produced nowadays. It's definitely, there's tons of it everywhere. But the older stuff sells, and that particular t-shirt isn't Harley at all. It's just meant to look like Harley. So, but the old Harley t-shirts, I mean, there's old Harley t-shirts that go for hundreds, if not thousands of dollars, because there are some that are harder to find. But the newer stuff, of course, is going to be a lot more mass produced and overpriced.
Most, and I just wanted to say, most of the Tommy Hilfiger stuff, that you'll hear me say the words "jump the shark." Allison jokes with me about it because I do say Tommy Hilfiger is not as hot as it was a year ago, 2 years ago, or 3 years ago, unless you've got some fantastic item with the big spell out that's vintage and great color block, sweatshirt or jacket or something like that. Standard Tommy Hilfiger stuff like standard jeans or a button-down shirt or a t-shirt or even like a crew neck sweater, that type of thing. Most of that stuff, even if it's vintage, unless it's got something fantastic spell out looking on it, it's not worth buying and not worth picking up because you can't flip them for even 20, 25 bucks. But this type of thing, those sneakers are fantastic. And it's real hard to find vintage Tommy sneakers like that.
Yeah, for sure. All right, next one for me. I like this sale. I'm over on Etsy now. I really like this sale because, hold on, I got to bring up my flipper tools. So I forgot to put that on there. Sorry, guys. But what, let's see. So with this one, I got a bunch of these Dale Earnhardt t-shirts in one of my boxes for my guy on the East Coast. And they're really cool ones. And they all have the same tag on them, the Sports Image Incorporated. They're just these really cool t-shirts. This is one of them. And I had priced them all at, so that they would go on sale on eBay for $69.99. And then I just have them listed for $69.99 on Etsy. And they've only been up for a little over a month. And I actually had somebody, you know, every once in a while, because of how I price stuff, I will get emails, probably more often than every once in a while, but I'll get emails from people basically giving me a hard time about my pricing.
Oh, yeah, every few days.
It's just ridiculous because it's like, first of all, why do you care? But for the most part, I will ignore them. And so I had gotten a message from a guy about one of these t-shirts, and I think his thing was like, is that a typo? I've never seen a shirt that's worth $69. And so I think usually I won't even respond, but in his case, I just responded and said, well, then I guess this isn't the shirt for you. And then like a week later, this one sold on Etsy. And I just think this particular one is a really cool one. And I'll just look over at the old flipper tools to see what it sold for. Now this one was actually on sale because I'm running a sale right now on Etsy for 10% off. So it was like 62 something. But they also paid an extra $8.05, I think, to get this ship priority because somebody bought it for their dad for Father's Day. And so they paid like $70 for this t-shirt. And because, you know, it sold on Etsy, I get even more of the money because of the fees and everything. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, in your face, dude.
I feel like I want to take the sold information and message it to people because I'm that bitch. No. I want to be like, oh yeah, really? It's not worth that? Somebody else just paid more. Shut up.
Well, I mean, usually when it happens, like it'll happen on eBay and then it'll sell on eBay. So if they're the kind of person that's going to like go out of their way to actually message you about it, they're probably also coming back and looking. So I figured, they'll see it eventually. And otherwise, it just isn't worth my time. But it was a little bit of vindication to have it sell for pretty much what I was asking for.
This is another Etsy sale for me. And I talk about vintage all the time. I love vintage clothing. I think many people don't even understand vintage and they don't understand the nuances. So they tend to sell it too cheaply. You will find vintage clothing sold, $20, $25 for these fantastic pieces online. And it's because people don't know how to price it. They don't, and I price with my gut. I price by what I think something is worth, not what I think the market shows that it's worth, because the market doesn't know what it's doing more than 50% of the time.
And when it comes to vintage, a lot of times, like for this dress, how many other ones are there out there?
None. A lot of those things you're looking at one of a kind for vintage for the most part. So I think Etsy is fantastic for vintage clothing. I do a lot of vintage on eBay as well, but I get better prices on Etsy, and my customers, love and know what they're looking for. So they definitely, I think, value the items, and they know what they're looking for and what they're looking at.
Yeah.
So
Allison says that she's loving Etsy, which is not a surprise because she has some really awesome vintage stuff, and she has a lot of really great vintage men's clothing, and that I feel like does fantastic on Etsy. All right, we're going to go ahead and look at this one. And you sold it for
$139.95, and this one actually sold to the Michael Kors department in New York City. Sold to Michael Kors design department. So my guess is, and I've sold to people like that before. I've actually sold to Michael Kors before, not him, but the company. So a lot of the time, when people from different design houses buy things like this, they probably have buyers that scour places like Etsy and eBay for vintage pieces because they're looking for inspiration. So
yeah,
I think that's probably the case why something like this would have been purchased by that company. They're looking.
Sandy wants to know, does eBay frown on not answering at all when someone messages you? You know what? I'm sure that like it does go into some sort of algorithms, and for the most part, I will answer. But usually, if it's a dumb question like that, or if it's just to harass me about what I have something priced at, I've gotten to the point now where it's like I'll just respond with some sort of passive aggressive thing, or like just give them a thumbs up, or I'll say thanks for the input or whatever. So that there is some sort of answer. I don't know if it really has any effect on my account, but I'm not going to get into any kind of discussion. I'm not going to explain to them why I price things the way I do, because I just don't think it's worth my time. And usually they're just trying to, you know, harass me.
Get a rise out of you. Yeah, I don't answer things like that.
Yeah. So, all right. So my last one is this Harley T-shirt. Here's another. These are the ones I got a whole bunch of them from Afro Vintage and Barry. And so I sold this one again. Actually, I had two, and I had three of them all together. But so there's still one. I've now sold two of them. So it was on sale. So they paid $62.99. And not only that, and they upgraded their shipping. It was free shipping for first class. They upgraded to express. So they paid an additional $30 to have this shipped to California. So if I'd sold this on eBay, it would have been for $70. Then I would have had to pay the $4 or whatever to ship it. In this case, it was on sale for $62.99, but they paid for shipping, and they paid $30. It cost me $23 about for the express shipping. So I made an extra $7. So basically I got my $7 back there. So I actually made a full $70 in this t-shirt. And plus the fees are lower, all that jazz. So it was pretty awesome. Pretty cool.
Chris, I've heard some rumblings about that. Chris asked, I've been told to stay away from Nike because I could be kicked from eBay. Does that count for shoes as well? What I think that people are talking about is Nike is cracking down on sellers that list things as new. If you purchase it at a place like Ross or Burlington and it's not purchased from Nike themselves, whether it be from factory outlet or if you're purchasing at a store and you're reselling something as new, that's when they're going to look at it as it not necessarily being new. So you should be putting new other, or you should be putting used, and then putting in, put your details and things like that. That's what they're cracking down on, because a lot of the types of things that are sold at Burlington and Ross are samples, or they're floor samples, or they're discontinued. Sometimes they're seconds. Sometimes there's irregularities. Sometimes there's something wrong with it. So Nike's trying to protect their brand and trying to protect their, the quality of their brand. And they lose quality control when something is sold on the secondary market as new. And if there's something wrong with it, it looks bad on them.
Yeah.
So that's what they're trying to do. And yes, you could technically have your account suspended, or they're going to ask you where you got your stuff from. So if you're selling a ton of stuff like that, make sure that you're just marketing it properly.
But there are a lot of sellers out there who do a lot of Nike. Like, there's a couple, my mind's not going
Kevin, Clutch Swag.
Yeah, Clutch Swag. He sells a lot of Nike. Hustler Hacks. They do a lot of Nike. So listen, there's plenty of people who do that. But yes, Nike is super, super protective. Like at ASD, the guy who has the Nike stuff there won't even talk to you if you are not an approved seller of Nike stuff. Like he won't even have a conversation with you. So you can't buy any shoes or anything like that. So anyway, all right, that's it. Or do you shut that off? So
yeah. All right,
that's what we got.
You grab your first stack of t-shirts.
I have a couple of jackets. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Well, you first. You
want me to go first? All right. So this first, I got two jackets I'll share with you guys. This first one I got at Savers. And so we went to, I didn't do a whole lot. I went out on Thursday, but I didn't really buy a whole lot this week. I bought a lot to flip at Buffalo Exchange. I took you to a special estate sale on Thursday morning. And then we went to Savers, and then we did some more garage sailing on Friday. But anyway, so I didn't buy a ton of stuff at Savers. But I did pick up this jacket. It was $20, and then it was 25% off. But this is made in USA, vintage, and this is actually, I don't know how well the color's picking up. This is like the army green,
like Loden green, army green.
Yeah, but this is actually, I don't remember how to pronounce the brand. Is it Gerbeau?
Yeah,
Gerbeau. But what's the full? It's like
Francois Gerbeau.
Francois Gerbeau. Anyway, now this is a brand that if you look at solds, if you try to look at comps, it's all over the place. And I wouldn't say that it's ever a home run. This brand is not a home run at all. But if you do look at sold, some stuff does sell for a little higher. But I'd say more often than not, it's kind of meh. So why would I pay $15 for it? Well, for me, it was really more about, it's like, yes, the brand is good. Sometimes can sell for a lot. But it's more about the style of this jacket. This is kind of like, it's sort of like a field jacket to a degree, even though it doesn't have like the flaps over the pockets down at the bottom. But it's kind of like this larger canvas kind of field work jacket, a little bit of military essence to it. And I just think this style is very popular right now. It's kind of an oversized, so I can definitely see this particular look doing well. And actually, I just got, before the show started, I got an offer for $50, which is not high enough for me. I have it listed. I just listed it today for $200. It'll go on sale. It'll be $140. I'd like to get at least $100 for it. But it's already getting some action. I literally just listed it 2 hours ago.
See, look at that.
So there you go. Anyway, so that's that one. Then we went to a garage sale yesterday.
Sunny asked, parlez-vous français?
Jacques Cousteau.
Un petit.
Oui. No. Anyway, so then we went to a garage sale, and last week when we went to garage sales, I didn't get anything. This time I found like 2 things. This is probably the best thing that I found. And they had this particular garage sale. They had like a bunch of military stuff, but I saw the arm sticking out, and I assumed it was going to be like a football or some sort of sports jacket. But it's a wool and leather vintage, probably 90s rodeo jacket. And this is like, now I wasn't able to find a whole lot of information about this one. It's millionaire.
Oh, okay.
A millionaire classic, and this is some sort of rodeo thing. And so I'm assuming this is some sort of like participant jacket, because it says team on it. It's all embroidered here. So I paid $10 for it. Actually, you paid $10 for it. This is your cost of being driven around all day.
You see how this happens? I end up having to pay for her stuff when she comes.
You guys,
garage selling.
She paid, first of all, last week she didn't have to pay anything because I didn't find anything.
That's true.
This week she spent a whole $15. I feel like $15 is pretty fair because I drive, I navigate. She doesn't have to do anything.
It's true.
She just has to sit in the car and hang out and wait to be carted and wait to show up at the next sale. We went to one estate sale where the parking was real bad. You go to certain neighborhoods, there's like no street parking, and the very little parking there was already filled up. I dropped her off, drove around the block, waited for her beck and call.
Sure.
Came back, picked her up in front of the house. I think that's worth $15.
Door service.
Anyway, so this was $10. I like this little tassel-y thing it's got here, like a little horsehair thing.
That is horsehair. Weird.
Anyway, so it was $10. I mean, I'd like to try and get like $100 for it, but again, it's not like I don't think it's a well-known event. So
Frontier Flipper, write it off as a loss on your taxes for buying her stuff. That's a good idea. Well, I suppose I'll just add it as cost of goods for the week.
Yeah, pretty much.
Just
pretty much.
Happens to be her goods,
all
not
right.
my goods.
Those are my jackets. So
those are your jackets?
Those are my jackets. The rest will be t-shirts.
All right. So I'll do a few little things. So as we talked about, I did hit a pretty fantastic estate sale. We did have a video we put up yesterday that showed a little bit of our sourcing from this week, and it was kind of so it showed some of our fun stuff. But I'm just going to do some highlights. One of the things I picked up is this double deck of vintage cards. This is from the 40s or so. They're vintage playing cards. I don't always pick up playing cards, but I used to sell them quite a bit. So these particular ones, I don't know, I paid like $1 for. It's a complete set. They have a vintage, just kind of like vintage pinup design on them. These particular cards, I paid about $1. I'm going to sell them for like $45, $50.
What? That's crazy.
Something else I picked up. I love militaria in general. So these are flight headphones. So these are for a pilot, aviator headphones. These are U.S. Air Force. They're
very fluffy.
They're military grade. They're not vintage, I don't think. If they are, they're very like recent vintage, maybe like late 90s, early 2000s. Not quite vintage. I'm going to check up by serial number and figure it out. But I paid $10 for this. And I will probably sell these for about $65. I thought they were pretty cool.
Very cool.
And then I also love not just militaria, but I love uniforms in general, all different types of uniforms. So this is a uniform hat. It's actually a lieutenant hat from the Hawthorne Fire Department. I haven't really looked up to see where Hawthorne is yet, but this is a lieutenant's dress uniform hat. It's a leather cap. This is from like say the 50s or 60s as well.
And how do you know that?
Just based on the just the inside.
What about it?
It's, I can tell by the way it's created inside, like the way the leather looks, because it looks like it's made by the same type of company that makes Hawthorns and Cali. Thanks, guys. I hadn't looked it up yet. So it's made the same way as military hats. You know, this just happens to be for the fire department. So, but it has the badge and shield on it, which is what is one of the more collectible pieces. So it says $30 on it. I paid $25. They didn't come down too much. So I like this. It's a nice captain hat, captain, lieutenant. It's one of the two. It could be either. But it's from the, you know, the dress uniform. So I'll probably sell this for about $100. You don't find a lot of these out there, not the leather dress ones.
Hey, Barry's in the house. 5-day flipper, otherwise known as Afro Vintage. What's happening?
Bring on the stampede of elephants. Yeah, no, I didn't buy any of the elephants, honey. Let's see what else. Oh, I picked this up at Savers. So I wouldn't normally have purchased something like this, but it was new with tags and it just caught my eye. It's a cooler, but it's a picnic basket cooler.
The picnic basket?
It's a picnic basket. A boo boo. So, and it's full and all that stuff, but even still, I wouldn't have necessarily picked it up until I looked at the brand. It looked a little bit pricey to me. So I did do a little Googling and looking up the brand when I was there. The brand is Picnic at Ascot. So it's got this little tag on it. I paid $15 for this. This sells for $100.
What? That's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I thought about keeping it, but $100 is $100. What am I going to use it?
We'll put our picnic in a garbage sack.
Right. All right. So that's it for me for now. I'll let you go.
All right. I got some t-shirts. Let's talk about t-shirts. Whoa, what's happening?
It just fell over.
How dare you? All right, guys. I found some cool t-shirts this week. So this one, I think this is actually a Buffalo Exchange one. I took a bunch of stuff to Buffalo Exchange. I didn't get as much as I usually do, but I didn't have as much good stuff to take into them. But I got like $80 in credit. And this is one of the things I picked up. I think this is pretty awesome, considering that we now have like a hockey team and everything. This is from 1993, and it says the 3rd annual Las Vegas Hockey Classic. And it's just a really cool, the graphic on the front of it's really cool. It's got quite the fade going on, but you know what? Super faded black t-shirts like this are very popular right now. You know, it's got some, you know, there's some cracking in the graphics and stuff, but I think it's a really cool t-shirt. I love the graphic on it. And that's a lot of how I choose stuff to sell. Like if I think it looks cool, I guess I just assume that there's got to be other people that are going to think it's cool as well. It's Screen Stars tag. But it's just a really cool single stitch, super thin, worn out t-shirt. I love it. I love it, guys. I probably paid like $12 for it, but that was also with credit, so less than that.
So Sunny asked, does it have a bottle holder? Yeah, it does have a separate bottle holder. That's one of the bigger ones. And then Martha asked, did I get 2? They did have 2 there, actually. They had a smaller one, but they had it priced the same, and the smaller one doesn't sell as high as the other one did, so I kind of left that one behind.
Very cool. All right, this next one, I just think it's silly. You know, there's a fine line between, like, there's lots of goofy, funny t-shirts out there that are just kind of like eye rollers, that aren't really, they don't really have great resale value. So it just kind of depends. It depends on how it looks. And that's another one where it's really hard to explain sometimes to people, like why I think this particular t-shirt's worth picking up and selling. But this one I just thought was like classic, like early 90s, just kind of goofy spring bait, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and it's got the sharks hanging out in the background and the girl in the bikini. It's just kind of silly, super cheesy, and just for whatever reason, I think this particular version of super cheesy, I think is actually pretty funny. Like there's just one t-shirt that they have at Buffalo Exchange right now, and it's like something about like, I don't have a drinking problem, I drink all day, and it's just like this ridiculous like iron-on from like the 70s, and it's just like, I always see it and I go, maybe I'd pay $5 for it, because I just don't really, I don't know, some of those t-shirts, they're just kind of stupid funny. Anyway, but I think this one's cool. I like it. See, it takes me back to spring break. That's what Sandy says. All right, this one I just think is a really cool T-shirt. This is a vintage 90s. This is a Fruit of the Loom tag right here, made in the U.S., single stitch, and this is just like a cool Waylon Jennings T-shirt. It's just kind of a nice black T-shirt. I don't know. I feel like I could probably sell this for like $50. What do you think? So. It's not like a particular tour or anything like that, but it's just like a cool music tee. All right, this one I love, and I don't know how this is going to do. It is so beat up. It is distressed to the backs. It's stained. It has holes. It's ridiculous, but it's also amazing. So this is a Pepsi. It says Pepsi Relays, and it says on it, it says time trials, split time, 322. It's like this color block. It's just, it really is like, oh yeah, it's frayed. But it's got great colors. It's just a cool shirt. It's just a really, really cool shirt.
Somebody loved the heck out of that shirt.
Oh yeah, and like when I was buying it, the guy at the counter was like, "Oh man," he's like, "I was eyeballing that, and I was thinking about getting it." And then this other guy came up, and he was like, "Oh man, I went past that, and I almost got it, and then I decided not to. It's such a great shirt." And it really, really is. It was priced up. It was $22. So I mean, with my credit, like I probably out of pocket really paid more, like I don't know, $15, $16. But I think it's totally worth it. I haven't listed this one yet, but it's just
$75.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna price it up. Like, it's just a really cool shirt. It's like so quintessential.
I'd go 75.
Like late 80s, early 90s. Like it's a cool shirt. I love it. Yeah, see, Barry knows what I'm talking about. So that Pepsi shirt is a crazy piece. It really is. It's special. It's like I love stuff like this where it's like it's really unique. I've never seen anything like this. I looked it up. I can't find anything like it. So it's just a really cool piece. Are we doing one more?
Yeah, we can do one more.
My next one, this actually came from my guy on the East Coast. It's just a really cool. It's pretty crispy. I don't think it's been worn much of it all.
Crispy.
Crispy. It's a Winston, cigarettes T-shirt or whatever. And it's got this cool kind of like wraparound. It says "No Bull" on the side.
I remember when that was their slogan. So it's like a 90s. Yeah.
Winston just got naked.
Who's Winston and why is he naked? Put your pants on, Winston.
It's just a nice crispy T-shirt, definitely 90s. Now this one says, let me show you this real quick. It says 100% cotton. It says assembled in Jamaica of USA fabric. So Jamaica, I actually see a lot of the assembled in Jamaica of US fabric from the 80s. So stuff was being made in Jamaica in the 80s and the 90s a lot. I don't know if they still do or not. I don't know if they still have factories down there doing that. But just so you know, because a lot of people, it gets oversimplified that like, oh, USA, if it's made in the USA, it's vintage. Or we'll talk about like made in Mexico with USA fabric. A lot of times that's early or late 90s, early 2000s. And you might think if you saw that Jamaica on there, you might think it's not vintage, but it actually could be as early as the 80s. But this is definitely a 90s Fruit of the Loom tag. And a 90s
Yeah,
T-shirt.
Candace Winston cigarettes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, you can go ahead.
All right. So I did pick up at that, great sale that we went to. I did pick up quite a lot of stuff. I spent $250 over 2 days there, and probably got about 20 or 30 items. I'm really only highlighting a few of them for you today. But one of the things that I picked up was this set of flatware. So I picked up, there were 4 boxes.
I scouted it out for you.
I said to you, can you please look those up?
No, I'd already looked them up. I looked them up before you came over, sassy Frassy.
She's my assistant when we're out too, so I'm kind of like,
I have video.
Can you look stuff up while
I have video proof of me picking them up, and then right after I filmed that, I was looking them up. So there you go.
All right, whatever. Anyway, so I got 4 of these new in the package 5-piece place settings. They are Dansk flatware. And then I have 3 sets that were not in the package, but they are new, and a set of serving utensils. So this is just part of everything I bought, but it's this particular, it's like Turan, I don't know. Just great stainless flatware, but it's vintage. not super old vintage, but vintage. And just a nice stainless piece. There's nothing wrong with them. They sell for about $50 a setting.
For one setting.
I'm pretty excited. Yeah, so I have 6 of the 5-piece place settings and then some other extra pieces. So
a few of them came in the box, and the rest were very well. They were like wrapped up, like they had like a paper towel in between each piece, and then plastic around that. So they're really well taken care of. Yeah.
So I haven't listed them yet or anything, but like I said, about $50 per place setting. I could lot them and sell them faster, probably, as it's a service for 6 is basically what it is. 6 full place settings. But I'm gonna just
sell them individually.
Yeah, sell them individually. Dansk is Danish, I believe. Yes. These are made in Japan, which is some of the older ones, but yeah, it is a company that started as made in Denmark, but not everything is made in Denmark. No, Dansk clothing is entirely different. That's a cheap clothing line sold at Walmart. That used to be, yeah, it's completely different. You get an E at the end. There's no E at the end of this. So anyway, that was one of my cool finds. I'm excited about that. I don't always buy flatware, but when it's easy to look up, like that, I'm all about it.
They were in the boxes, so it was a no-brainer to like look them up real quick.
Yeah, Debbie, I will do multiple quantity on those. Yep. The other thing I picked up was this vintage made in Japan Seiko clock. So this woman was a huge collector of elephants. It was all elephants, and like Capo di Monte elephants and crystal elephants and porcelain elephants, and I mean like a bazillion freaking elephants. Most of it not really saleable, super cheap stuff that she probably spent a fortune on collecting over the years. But you know, I could maybe get $5, $10, $15 a piece. Just not worth me picking up, unless you're like a collector and you really liked it too. But I just wasn't really into it. But one of the things I do like is I like clocks. So this is, you know, this vintage Seiko clock. It's like little elephant. It's got an elephant circus thing. Like that's the alarm, and this moves, and I don't know, but it's cute. So basically everything I paid for, I'm averaging out maybe about $8 an item for everything that I bought. I'll probably sell this for like 60 or 70. One of the other things that I picked up was this fantastic West Clocks clock right here. So basically this is an Art Deco style.
It's really cool.
So when you get the lines, it's an Art Deco style. This lights up, and it is Bakelite. This is called, this is golden Bakelite, yellow Bakelite. This is probably from the 50s, late 40s, early 50s. And this is going to sell for about $60 or $75. It does work. There's nothing wrong with it. It's a nice alarm clock. It's made by West Clocks, which is a popular brand that's been around forever. It just happens that this is one of the nicer ones. Some of the stuff is made like junk, isn't necessarily going to last, and isn't necessarily worth reselling. But this particular one is like late 40s, early 50s. And like I said, this will sell for quite a bit.
Pretty awesome.
There's nothing wrong with it. There's no cracks. There's no, colored Bakelite is worth more. This is the most common color that you're going to find, like this golden Bakelite color. But, it's still highly collectible.
That's nice.
Let's see what else. This was a different garage sale. Vintage electronics. We did pick this up. I paid $10 for it. This is new in box. This is unused. So this is a camcorder. Different ones sell, used and bits and pieces and missing batteries and things like that sell for $20 or $30. The last one that was brand new with all the pieces sold for about $70. So I think that's what I'll get for this, about $70.
I scattered that one too.
You did. All right, I'm good.
Are you dying?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
So this T-shirt, back to T-shirts, guys. This T-shirt, first of all, it's in crispy condition. Very, very good. It's the 80s Hanes tag on it. Don't think this T-shirt's been worn at all, really. It's Cavex. I don't know how to pronounce it. This is I think they manufacture X-ray equipment, And this looks like it's like some sort of work retreat kind of team builder type of t-shirt from 1987. Vicky just abandoned us, which one of the reasons I wanted to show this, and we'll see if anybody who the first person is to point out the error on this t-shirt and why this t-shirt might bring about some sort of rage response from Victoria. Teamwork effects change, and this is Delta team member 1987, and
don't be trying to make me rage.
And maybe this is why this t-shirt has not been worn. I don't know. Anyway, yes, Sandra, it says effects. That should be effects with an A. They used the wrong version of the word.
Whoever created the t-shirt is dumb.
Whoever created the t-shirt. But it's still a fantastic t-shirt. 1987. I think it's cool. I love that it's from a particular company because I believe that company still exists, which makes it more likely that somebody from that company would find this t-shirt and want to get it. And hopefully either they want to wear it ironically or they won't know the difference, and then they'll buy it just because it's an old t-shirt. So here's hoping.
So one of the comments there, Lori said, Dansk home goods are having a huge resurgence with the MCM crowd. You're right, because Dansk is very popular for mid-century wood products like Swedish modern type of stuff. That flatware is not representative of that genre of their creations, but yeah.
Anyway, Teresa said, I can't believe you bought it. Whatever, it was only like a couple bucks. It actually is like a really cool, I love the bright red, and it's in fantastic condition. I have there's something about like vintage t-shirts especially where I can't leave them behind. If I think they look cool. There was one that I had brought home and we realized it smelled really bad, like smoke. It was so bad, the smell in it, that Vicky was like, you should just throw it away. And so I took it and I threw it out. Like I was going to go outside, throw it in the garbage, but I just threw it out the door and shut the door because I was going to go deal with it later, but it just smelled so bad. And it's like, it seriously bugged me. And I was like, I can't just throw away. It's made it so long and it was in really good condition. It just smelled. And I'm like, it's made it through life so long. And now it's just going to end up in like a landfill somewhere. And I just couldn't do it. And I went out and grabbed it and I put it in the wash, washed it. The smell went away. And I ended up selling it within, because I remember one of the reasons I threw it away is because I was like, it's not that great of it didn't have that interesting of a graphic on the front of it. I put it up and I ended up selling it like right away. So I can't do it, guys. I can't do it.
Can't do it. Can't bring yourself to do it.
Yeah. Okay. So this t-shirt, on, was it Wednesday? Whenever it was, Wednesday, I think, Vicky went out and she was like, I'm gonna go to Savers and do some sourcing. And so because she wasn't gonna go with me on Thursday. And so she went and then she sent me a picture and she's like, hey, what do you think about this t-shirt? And it was a dead stock 90s t-shirt. There were 5 of the same thing. And why don't you tell us about your little experience at the Savers and how you swooped in.
All right. So those of us that know, and if you're still watching this, you're going to know what I'm talking about. But when you go to the Savers or the thrift stores now, at least around here, I would say middle of the afternoon now, the t-shirt aisle is overrun with a bunch of bros, right? It's a bunch of older teens, early 20s, street kids that think they're flippers,
streetwear kids,
kids, not street kids, but yeah, streetwear kids that think they're flippers, that are just baby flippers, that don't necessarily know what they're doing yet, but they think they do. So they like to talk a big game. And they're like flipping through the t-shirts.
That's the key, because everybody starts somewhere. There's lots of beginners. I think the key is that they're real loud and they talk it up.
They're so loud about it, and they're like, okay, so I've got one at the end of the aisle with his hand there. He's just there with his buddy, right? And the guy that's flipping through stuff and talking, I say guy loosely, he's probably younger than my daughter. He's probably 20, right? And he's talking real loudly about, yeah, dude, I'll pick up t-shirts here at Goodwill. I pay like $2 to $3 and I flip them. And the guy's like, what, you pay 2 to 3 and you flip them for 5 or 7? He's like, no, man, way more than that, like 15, 20 bucks a piece. I'm selling them online and I'm in these groups online and I sell stuff. And he's going on and on. He's like, so what do you look for? He goes, stuff like that's super hot right now, like Nike. And anyway, he's flipping, and he's taking up the whole aisle. He's got his cart there and he's standing and I'm like, excuse me. finally I get him to get out of the way, and I'm going around him, and I'm kind of like looking. So I'm pulling stuff out of the rack that he's looking at. He flips right in front of him. I pulled the 5 shirts all in one lump. Pulled them and put them in my cart. Part of me wanted to say, listen,
whippersnapper.
Listen.
I'm going to be taking a nap later, but for now,
this old lady can run circles around your streetwear thrifting ass. That's all I got to tell you, because you weren't even looking at these. So I pulled all 5 of them.
Anyway, it's not for me. So this is a shirt. So I got 5 of these. And it's just a really cool, I mean, it's an M&M t-shirt, rodeo clown. And it's kind of got a cool, like, not quite all over print, but kind of like this cool wraparound with the bowl. And it's made in the USA. I got 5 of these, all size large. And what's cool about this is the M&M stuff, especially like, you know, like they have the M&Ms, like racing jackets and stuff like that. But what I really like about this is it's not only M&M, but it also is rodeo. And so I sell a lot of stuff. It's one of those things where if it has anything to do with like rodeo, we totally will grab it, buy it, because it has a really great resale value to it. And what also is cool about this one is I went and I looked everywhere for it. I cannot find a single one like this shirt. So that is also better, because that means I have the only ones that are out there. It's not gonna go for like $1 million. Like I already listed them. I have them listed for $47.99. I'll take offers. I think I can sell them for
still only
$40.
paid $5.
Yeah, I think I can sell
this guy's like
$40 a piece.
I buy them for $2 or $3. I'll flip them for $15.
Yeah. And so
I have forgotten more in the last 6 months than you know, buddy.
But all these tags,
I'm old.
All the tags are all cut. So I would imagine they actually came from like they came from M&M. Probably like one of the stores, and they cut them.
We have the M&M store here, so
yeah. So they probably, you know, they'll do that where they'll cut the tag to kind of prevent them from being sold in like a retail store and stuff like that. Anyway, I just think it's cool too. It's a cool shirt. I like it. It's cute. It's cute. All right, you can go ahead.
All right. So okay, so one of the other things I picked up, if you watched the sourcing video, you saw me pick this up. But this is a vintage, like these are called like wall pockets. Like wall sconce or wall pocket. It's flat on the back, and they hang. This is like a replacement cord. I don't know what it was originally, but it was probably like just like little like thin rope. Anyway, this is just a really cool looking vintage, made to look like a 1920s or some type of Art Deco type of look. I'm probably gonna sell this for like 50 or 60. And the other thing Teresa keeps talking about is this umbrella that I picked up. So when you're looking at estate sales, especially, this is one of those things at estate sales, people forget about this stuff. They don't think it has any value. Certain umbrellas and like walking sticks and things like that have a lot of good value, especially if they're vintage. I always look at them. So this particular one is vintage, late 80s, early 90s polo. You see this the little polo?
Fancy.
It's got a little brass placard on it. It's got a wooden handle, and it's this nice black watch tartan plaid, that navy blue and green plaid. It's a golf umbrella. It's got brass tips, all that kind of stuff, and the wooden handles. Anyway, this umbrella was also one of the things that I picked up at that estate sale, where I didn't pay a lot of anything, but it's a little bit beat up. It does have some issues. It's not 100%. It does have some fading from wherever they had this stored. It was stored like this, but there's some fading on some of the creases. But this particular umbrella should sell for at least 100. Teresa's saying more, but because of the issues, I'm thinking it's going to be closer to 100.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty cool. Yeah, I see Corey in there. Yeah, he says that they're so annoying. There's groups of those guys that hang out the bins near him, and he hates listening to them because they're so cocky. You know, the thing is, it's just thrifting in general is super popular right now, whether they're thrifting for themselves or they're thrifting to sell. And, you know, I will say it's not discouraging to me. Like, I'll go to the Savers and there'll be like a whole bunch of guys like just going through all the t-shirts. And it's like, yeah, I wish that it was just me in there. But what I found is the majority of them, they go for the really obvious stuff. So, of course, like if there's any really cool vintage, like sports t-shirts or really cool vintage band t-shirts, they're probably going to be long gone by the time I get there. But they tend to overlook, they don't get into, their knowledge base doesn't get into the more nuanced stuff and some of the really cool vintage t-shirts that get overlooked by a lot of them. And so those are the ones that I will snag and do really well with. So
yeah, Candace, it is kind of like a head base, but not quite. But yes, there are lots of head bases. That's what we were talking about. I wish that it had been a head base, but Yeah, I was only kidding. Yes, I've forgotten more than you've known the last. That's because I'm old and I'm forgetting.
Teresa says you failed to mention that she sold one in 2013 for $140.
It's true, she did, and she actually sold another one for $399. That was in better condition.
Allison says I don't think I've ever run into another reseller. Yeah,
that's because you're in Alaska.
You're in Alaska.
Rub it in. Keep rubbing it in.
Yeah.
You don't run into a lot of people.
The thing is, there's tons, there's thousands. Teresa, do you remember what the number is for the Las Vegas area? There's at least a couple thousand just on eBay, but thousands of resellers. Now, how many of those are actual like hardcore resellers that do it for a living? I don't know. But there are tons here in Vegas. But you know, luckily we have no end to stuff for people to flip here, so it's pretty cool.
I mean, I don't have a problem with young kids learning. They got to learn. I was young when I learned. I mean, I was 25 years old when I started selling online, and I was going to estate sales and auctions with all these old time pickers and you know, auctioneers and people that, you know, had known antiques for years. They were antiques, for God's sake.
Well, that's why I say it's the cocky. It's the
cocky. It's the cocky that drives me crazy. Exactly. So,
all right. They're probably the same guys that are in the groups I'm in that are scared to ship international, and I'm like, good, because I don't care. I'm going to sell all the cool stuff to Australia. You're going to miss out on a ton of great sales. Anyway, all right, it's my turn. Do you have anything left?
I have all these.
Oh, you have all these clothes. Do you want me to do some, or?
Yeah, no, go.
Okay. So the next thing I have, I actually showed these in the video because we were at Savers. The
bonus factor. That's it exactly, Alexis.
If you watch the sourcing video, we were in Savers, and Vicky had seen a whole bunch of vintage undershirts. They're all brand new, dead stock 70s undershirts, and all size medium, but there were 12 of them all together. And there were these Sears men's store. There's 10 of these ones. And then there was Montgomery Ward, also a medium. And there were 2 of these ones. And so I actually grabbed them. They were all 99 cents, but it was 25% off. So I got them for 75 cents a piece. And I actually was planning to flip them at Buffalo Exchange, or hopefully some of them. They didn't want any of them. They were like, maybe if it was something more interesting on it. I think it was a big mistake because I think they easily could have sold those very, very quickly there for 10, 12 bucks a piece. Whatever. I knew I could get more by selling them myself, but I just wanted the quick flip so that I could have some more money to spend on more exciting stuff. So they made the decision for me because now I got to sell myself, and I've already listed them. And I actually did 3 lots of 3 for the Sears ones, 3 lots of 3. And I have them priced right now. They'll go on sale, and they'll be like $85 for 3 of them. But that's with best offer. And the thing is that when I looked at comps, there were some that had gone packs of 3 for like $75. So it's, you know, it's definitely on the high end. But I'm open to offers, and we'll see. And when it comes to stuff like that, and Allison can totally back me up, when it comes to stuff like that, it's like people are very particular about, they like a specific undershirt, or this is why vintage underwear and undershirts and stuff like that sells so well, because people have like this particular brand, particular type that they just really like. And so they'll be on the lookout for it, and you can sell it for good money.
Exactly.
So we'll see.
Kelly. So we had a question in here I want to get to. One second there. Oh, Cam Crazy asked, how can you tell if the Chanel bangle bracelet is real? I found one and paid $2, been trying to determine if it's real. I would actually post some real detailed pictures of it in our Facebook group. I'm not an expert at Chanel or their jewelry. So, but there are going to be some people that will have some answers for you. That's the best option for you. Being a bangle bracelet, you're probably not going to pay for authentication on something like that because it's not going to have that much of a return that it would be worth it. You know, it's not like a suit or a luxurious handbag or something like that. But I would definitely post some pictures in the group. Our Facebook group, the link is down below for the Boss Facebook group. Someone may have some answers for you. But don't take maybe the first answer. Just like take a collective look at all the answers that you get. Yeah. Let's see. Create and adorn. There's plenty of room for you here in Henderson. We love Henderson.
And lots of thrifting to be done.
And Madras print clothes, it depends on who makes it. Some Madras print really sells well. Old Ralph Lauren Madras print, like shorts and like cotton sports coats and jackets and things like that, they sell. pants, that kind of stuff, or golf wear, that type of stuff still sells. If it's just like a blouse or something, I'd skip it.
Mm-hmm. All right. Do you want to go ahead and show some?
Sure. So this was my week for vintage, another one of my weeks for vintage apparently, but I did pick up these two fantastic like boho hippie style dresses at a garage sale this week. They have this like smocked front here, that stretchy smocked front with the long sleeves. Look at that sparrow print. And these big, long, full skirts. It's one of those things that can fit multiple sizes. So I've got two of these. I've got one in that print, which I love, and then one in this yellow print. What I wanted to show you is that one of the things you want to look at when you're looking at these type of things is you want to look at the seams and the edges for the type of fabric. This is called block print fabric. It's block print. I'm trying to find a seam. There's one on one of these dresses. Hold, please. Sorry.
Hold, please.
Block print is a type of fabric that was used for a lot of like African and Indian print clothing, and it sells really well. It's a type of ways. Here we go. It's a type of way that they created the print. So it's a wax lot block printing. So if you look at like sometimes you look at the edging on fabric on the inside,
mm-hmm.
and you'll see some information on
interesting
some information there. So what they would do is they would take these blocks and print on the fabric. Anyway, so those dresses, I paid $7 a piece for them at a garage sale. I'll probably sell them for $75 to $100 a piece.
Nice.
And then I also picked up this vintage dress from late 60s, early 70s.
Fancy.
And it's just got this
polyester.
Great print. This great print. I tell people all the time, like I was telling to Katie, I love vintage clothing. If I were a skinnier person, I would wear nothing but vintage. It just is not made and does not look flattering on a woman with my body type. But if I were a skinny girl, man, I'd be wearing this stuff all the time. But yeah, this is so pretty. I love the fabric. I love the design. It looks photographed really, really well.
Mm-hmm.
So I paid $8 for this. I'll probably list this again, the same thing, probably about 75 to 100. But my favorite finds this week, and I'm going to be done with after I do this. So
I just have one little
okay,
set of
perfect.
T-shirts.
I did purchase from the house with the big estate sale, and it's a bunch of antique, and by antique I mean this is like turn of last century type of clothing, Chinese clothing. Grandma Cheap Cheap. That particular dress, the floral dress, is polyester.
It was real polyester.
So this is handmade, turn of the century, hand embroidered, double-sided. This is a children's dress. It's a children's ethnic dress. It's smocked. It has some satin ribbon and some velvet. I mean, like it's a smock dress. I don't know.
What does that mean?
It's just a style. It's just this fantastic print on velvet that is made by, I've done a little bit of research. It's definitely Chinese. It's probably Mao, which is M-A-I-O, Mao, or Hmong, H-M-O-N-G. That's probably the style. And it's just fantastic. This will probably sell for about $100. This is really, it's just gorgeous. Somebody would take this and like frame it. Like this is not something. I was
gonna say, like, would you buy that for? Because you're not like.
It's somewhat reminiscent. It's very close to Peruvian, but it's not. It's definitely Chinese. But you're right. Peruvian was one of my first ideas when I started doing the research, because Peruvian is known for that highly ornate and detailed, bright colors, and especially depicting animals yeah. and birds. But that's only the first piece. The other pieces that I purchased, again, these are adult pieces, but these are jackets. Same type of thing, but they're jackets, and they're just these highly detailed, made with different types of fabrics and fibers, hand embroidered, handmade, gilded. I mean, I can't even tell you the type of detail that goes into these. They're just absolutely freaking stunning. They're pieces of art. So there are four different ones that I purchased. Again, I paid somewhere around, if I'm averaging out all of the pieces, somewhere around $8 per piece. This was in that lot of things. At first I thought they were maybe Indian. I wasn't entirely sure because she had so much stuff from India because she loved elephants. But they are Chinese. It's been confirmed by a few people I know that are Chinese and do know about the fabrics more than I do. This is probably the least ornate of them. They're just beautiful. They're just beautiful pieces of art, honestly. Everything's hand sewn. This is small. This is probably for a young child or a young man.
And how much will these sell for?
At least $100 to $200 a piece.
That's pretty awesome.
And then this one, the children's one, is my favorite just because of all the detail. But this one is a very close second.
Oh wow, this is awesome.
This one is just, it's got like a dragon type of theme, or but they are, again, everything handmade, hand detailed, lots of different type of fabrics. I wish I could tell you how detailed this is, if you were even able to see. I don't know how close I can get this, but the layers of fabric that are used with the stitching. And they're definitely turn of the century, handmade, lined in like linen and cotton. Yeah. They're very, very well preserved.
And these were like all stuffed in a suitcase.
They were stuffed in
like you were pulling them out of the suitcase.
They were stuffed in an old suitcase.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're probably going to go for around $200 a piece. The children's one, well, I will sell for at least $100. Yeah, they're just gorgeous. About 100 years old.
Yeah. Pretty cool.
So those are my favorite pieces that I bought. Yeah, if you just look up antique or even vintage Hmong clothing, ethnic clothing, I love that type of stuff. I love doing the research for that type of stuff.
Well, you were saying on the sourcing video, you spent about $250 total, but you think you're going to make close to $1,500 off of that one sale.
Yeah.
So that's more. Like, you know, like Friday, we spent half the day going to all these sales, and we picked up very, very little. And when you look at that, you're like, oh, a whole half a day and you barely find anything to sell. It seems like such a waste of your time, and time's money. But the thing is, you'll have other days where we literally went just to the sale, or you just went to the sale. We were there for maybe a half an hour, and you basically...
I cherry picked the best stuff. And this was her second week. I didn't see the sale the first week. I wish I had gone there the first week. This was the second week.
Right.
And now, I just created a huge pile of stuff, and you only saw a few of the things. I created a huge pile of stuff, and she started looking at prices, and she's like, oh, 300. I was like, 200. She's like, nah, 250. I'm like, 225. I have cash.
Yeah.
She's like, okay.
But yeah, it's like, so some days you're going to hit big and some days you're going to strike out, but you know, hopefully you get better at picking the right places to go and stuff like that. But you know, you win some, you lose some, but when you win big, it's really good. All right, I just have a few more t-shirts left to go. This one came from my guy on the East Coast. I wanted to show this one because what color was this when I got it?
Oh, it was yellow. It looked like something pissed on it. It was just yellow.
The whole thing was so yellow, and Vicky was like, oh, maybe that's
Don't
the color.
Even bother.
No, she was like, maybe that's the color it's supposed to be, and I'm like, I don't think so. And so I actually had there were 4 or 5 different things from that box of stuff. And not to say it's not, like, he'll send me stuff that needs to be washed, needs to be cleaned. And so I'm totally okay with that because of the pricing, the way that our deals are. I'm okay with having to clean stuff. So this was totally worth it. It wasn't like he sent me crap stuff. But anyway, I just wanted to show this because seriously, it is so white and clean now because I took this and maybe 4 or 5 other things. And I have this big bucket that I use now that I put in the sink, and I fill it with hot water, and I use that, it's that Totally LA's awesome
powder.
And it's supposed to be like, it's like the OxyClean stuff. So you get, it's 99 cents for like a little thing of it. There's a different kind that's bigger, but this is like the more concentrated stuff that's supposed to be used for like grout cleaning and stuff. But you can also add it to your laundry. And so I use it liberally. I will put in 1 bucket of water. It's like a few gallons of water. It's supposed to be like, oh, a scoop per gallon. I will dump in like half to 3/4 of one of those things because they're only 99 cents or $1. And I will let it soak, not for 24 hours. I found that like it really comes out great if I do like a good 36 hours, like seriously, like a day and a half, let it soak in this stuff. And then I wash it, and it's like so white and bright, and it gets rid of a lot of discoloration.
Not new, but I mean, there's no yellow or discoloration
it's totally,
anywhere on it.
Looks fantastic. And it doesn't take me much time because I seriously fill up this thing with water. Every once in a while I'll go through and I'll mix it around a little bit, but it just sits there for a day and a half and then I throw it in the wash.
I call it her dirty clothing soup.
It's really gross. But anyway, this is just a really cool, I like the print on it. I really like the design on it. And this is from the 1996 Atlanta Paralympic Games. So I just thought it's a really cool t-shirt. So I'm just glad I was able to restore this because guys, you know how I feel about vintage t-shirts. I wanted to give it a little bit of love.
You want to save them all?
I want to save them all. And I think this is a fantastic one. It's just a really cool t-shirt. Anyway. Yeah, 13 Nomads says great tip. We love to sign up for forget methods. Seriously, like I do all my clothing prep all at once, usually the day before I do pictures. And because of, you know, a lot of times people say like, oh, don't buy stuff that's stained. Don't buy stuff that you have to do repairs on. Listen, it's fine if you have a system for how you deal with it. And so like I go through all my stuff, I get it all ready, and I'll sit there and I'll go through. If I see a stain, I treat it, throw it in the wash, throw it in the wash. And then by the end of the day, it's the washing machine might be full, and then I just run it. It's like it doesn't.
That's your call. Saving t-shirts one at a time.
Exactly. I'm not spending a lot of time on an individual piece. It's just all that's done together. Now this one is another one I got from my guy. Harley T-shirt. Listen, there's a million Harley T-shirts out there.
It's from the Dollar Tree. It's called LA Awesome.
It's called yeah, LA's.
I just said LA Awesome.
I know, but there's like another word that's missing in there.
Well, they have like 3 or 4 things. You can look in the cleaning department.
Anyway, they're like, it's a little thing. My guy. Anyway, so this is there's a million Harley T-shirts out there. Not all of them are going to be amazing. This one's from 1999.
This looks like every tramp stamp from the 90s I've ever seen in my life.
This particular T-shirt's from 1999. It's nicely faded. But let me tell you why I'm excited about this T-shirt, guys. Let me tell you. Look at this graphic on the back. How cool is this? It's got the moon landing on it. It says Rocket City, USA. It's Alabama. It's super awesome. So it's got the whole space thing going on. It's got astronauts on. It's got the space shuttle. It's just super, super cool. It's super, super cool, guys. I haven't listed it yet, but I think this one's fantastic. I'm totally going to put this up for like 50, 60 bucks. I think it's a great t-shirt. Do I spot clean with the same product? Yeah, we actually need to do a video. We should do a video like sometime this next week. I have this whole thing that I do. So they also have, LA is totally awesome. I think that's what it is. They also have a spray. And so what I'll do if I'm just doing a spot is I spray it a whole bunch with the spray. That's also from the Dollar Tree. I spray the spot, get it pretty soaked. And then I make this concoction with the powder where I'll take I have like another jar that I put the powder in. I put Dawn dish soap in it and a little bit of water and mix it around with a toothbrush. So it's like this, almost like a paste, a very liquidy paste. And then I'll take that with a toothbrush and I'll scrub it into the spot over the top of the spray. And I found that it doesn't work every time, but it definitely removes a lot of those grease spots that I have found are really hard to get out of fabric. So you gonna take a nap? You want to go take your old lady nap?
I might need one.
You went and yell at some whippersnappers?
I can't. We've got to go to the grocery store. We have someone coming over for dinner. And I have Teresa that's going to bug me to make me do a demo.
Anyway, we will do a video, a short video, like later this week, maybe, and just show some of the tools like we use for cleaning. Because on top of that is the bleach pen, which is also magic.
Magic.
I feel like lately, I've been doing this for like 3.5 years, guys, selling clothes. And I feel like just in the last couple of months, I feel like I hit a next level because of like figuring out the combination of products that really work for me. And I've been able to save more t-shirts, guys. Anyway, I saved the best for last. So I've got 2 t-shirts here. Mm-hmm. These ones are also from my guy. I got these separately. This did not come in my regular box because some of his higher valued stuff, some of it, you know, he'll try to sell to make a little bit more money. I bought these 2 t-shirts together for $100. Now I definitely paid up quite a bit for them. This is a Grateful Dead t-shirt. It's liquid blue, which anybody who kind of follows like the whole vintage t-shirt game will know that these Grateful Dead t-shirts are super, super popular right now in the streetwear community. I believe this is probably a reprint, but it is like a reprint for like a few years later. But this is 1994. Tie-dye, awesome Grateful Dead t-shirt. And even being a reprint from the original, I can still probably sell this for as much as $100. This liquid blue. So it's just an amazing t-shirt. So that one, and then the other t-shirt I got, so again, I got 2 t-shirts for $100. The other one I got is this fantastic Hair Jordan Bugs Bunny Michael Jordan t-shirt. It's got an all over print. It's got the awesome on the side. It's got Michael Jordan hanging out. Boom!
And it's like,
It's
it's crispy.
It's pretty crispy. You got Marvin the Martian on the back. You got him hanging out with K9. This is just a really, really cool t-shirt. It's the coveted gray Nike tag. I call that, I always call it the Jordan era tag, which is usually for t-shirts from the late 80s, early 90s. This t-shirt, particular t-shirt, actually says, actually has a date on it, 1993. Now this t-shirt, I want to be able to sell it for at least 150. It's gone for cheaper, but I think I can sell it for 150. So here's the thing. I paid $100 for 2 t-shirts that I should be able to sell for 250. Is that a good investment? Yes and no. But the reason I do that is because I have a very niche market that I sell in. I have a store that's been branded as it's men's, mostly vintage streetwear. I have a lot of people who do follow me.
I would invest $100 for a $250 flip. It just depends on what it is.
Yes. So for me, because
so would I invest $100 on 5 items to flip for $250 on 5 items? Not necessarily. But because it's only
it's only
2 items.
But so hear me out. Here's my reasoning. So that Harley t-shirt I showed you earlier that in my solds that somebody paid $30 to have shipped. I had 3 of them. I sold the second one to somebody. I took an offer for $50 earlier today, and it's someone who buys from me. They've now probably bought close to 10 t-shirts.
Is that same woman here?
Here in town. Every week I probably get offers from her, and every couple of weeks they purchase from me. So I have buyers who are regularly watching my store, and my store is known for a specific type of t-shirt. And with something like this,
my store is not known for crap. There's zero consistency in there.
Right, but that's just how I do it. And so this t-shirt and these are super relevant to the current vintage streetwear scene. Mm-hmm. And so for me, having pieces like this in my store, it's worth paying up for them because it elevates my store and it lends it, I guess,
street cred,
and it just makes my store relevant because I'm carrying the stuff that's the hottest right now, if that makes sense.
I got it.
You got it?
I got you. I got you.
Anyway, so that's how it works for me. So I wouldn't necessarily say like, hey, go out and spend $100 on 2 t-shirts that you're going to double your money at some point with. So
known for vintage trash. Yeah,
no treasure.
No, I thought it said trash. That makes more sense for mine. Mine's known for vintage trash.
Anyway, guys, bargain goodness that I would frame them.
That's it.
That's everything for us. See, we didn't even go into the 2-hour mark, so I don't know what you're talking about.
It's actually short. This is a short show. Only 1 hour and 38 minutes. Woo!
Yeah, I'll keyword that VW bus for sure. Du projet pick air. Anyway, guys, thank you so much. I'm sorry that all I showed was t-shirts today for the most part, but hey, guys, there's money. There is money to be made with t-shirts.
Clearly.
People love them. They are a hot commodity.
Teaching all kinds of people to go to Buffalo Exchange.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying.
It's working.
Yeah. It's good. Supply and demand. The more people looking for it, the more they're going to sell it. And it's all a beautiful cycle that is only going to help all of us. So anyway, you got anything else to say?
I got nothing.
See, that is my mission. I want to save all the vintage t-shirts. I want to make people see the value.
My hair looks awesome, Barry. Thank you. My hat head, I appreciate it. This is my hat from Amanda Clark West Trading, one of our friends, or one of our stranger friends. This was my birthday hat.
Yeah. Cheryls yelled bye at me. It's so rude.
Bye, Cheryl. Bye. Go pack.
She's gonna go pack. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us. As usual, it was a fun show. This is our favorite show to do. Mm-hmm. But we will talk to y'all later. We'll see you on Wednesday. And
wishing you good sales.
We got some more listing to do. We got to go get some propane for the barbecue. Maybe get some kebab stuff because we're gonna have kebabs for like the 20th time in the last 10 days.
Hey, it's good.
We're into the kebabs, man. Anyway, see you guys later. Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.